Mystic Gio said this last night.
Cornet, on the other hand, he's someone who could be seen. I know Gonzo was combusting. I bet you, but he's infuriated already with Cornet's absence. So I imagine when Gonzo saw the team sheet tonight, the starting 11 in the bench, and saw no Maxwel Cornet, I wouldn't be surprised if he was on the brink of just exploding, just bursting with rage. So that probably be Gonzo's video tomorrow morning. Where is Cornet? Where is Cornet?
And he's not wrong, I can tell you that much. Maybe not fuming. I think it would have to be a surprise. This is completely predictable. But I say completely predictable. This is predictable from his form at West Ham. I didn't know this was coming. Gio did warn me. Gio said when we were about to sign him, this guy is injury prone. He's come under a lot of criticism for Burnley fans, which is basically the Burnley fans were saying he's never available when we want him to be. Everything's got to be just right for him to play. And we're not talking about major injuries here. If there's anything, a sniffle or whatever, a broken fingernail, he don't play. I'm going to read you a quote now, by the way. Here's a quote. I think he's just a bit injury prone since arriving. We want him to play minutes. We like what he's doing. It's just finding that careful line between pushing him and maximising his playing time to get fitter and sharper without breaking him. I think it's a tricky one. Whose quotes were that? Well, that was Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche said that on October 28th, 2021. I mean, that's not good. I'll tell you how I stumbled across that quote. I stumbled upon that because before doing this video, I thought, you know what, we will check the old confirmation bias. Not that I needed to on this one. He's just not available for West Ham. His brightest moment in a West Ham shirt was a goal that never actually happened because of a dodgy referee and VAR decision against Chelsea, right? That's as good as it's been. I know he hasn't featured for West Ham. Barely at all. There's been nothing significant, no really big injury, nothing like a Gerd has, okay? So I thought, let me just check this out. Let me look back. And what I'll do is I'll go and check some of the Burnley social media and the Burnley fans forums. It's rife of it. There's loads of it there. And in the quest to do that search, to find out what the fans were saying, I didn't expect to basically discover a quote from Sean Dyche, from the Burnley manager himself. I mean, he must have been infuriated, Dyche, really, when you consider that actually, obviously, Burnley were to go on and get relegated. But when you consider at that point, he really needed somebody to dig him out because actually he got booted out by the owners before Burnley went down. So technically, I guess Sean Dyche didn't take them down. But he must have been infuriated to have this talented player there that didn't feature at all. Had it just been this sort of mid-season friendly, getting a testimonial against Cambridge, absolutely fine. But it's not. It's the whole lot. This is another opportunity for Cornet to stake his claim. I really wanted, to say I wanted Cornet is a lie. I wanted a left winger. Anybody that's been watching this channel for any length of time knows I was banging on about it last year. Got to get a left winger. In my mind this season, particularly since seeing Paqueta play for Brazil, I've got it in my mind. I've got this sort of midfield. I've got Declan Rice and Paqueta in central midfield. I'm seeing Bowen. But basically, the point is I want players in front of Paqueta from the past two. So I'm seeing Bowen on the right. I'm seeing Benrahma in the middle, and Cornet on the left, and Scamacca up front. I don't share a lot of people's criticism with Scamacca against Cambridge, by the way. I thought he looked disinterested. That's what I was worried about with Scamacca. But against Cambridge, he didn't look disinterested. I thought I know he's shooting. His radar was a bit off. But anyway, we'll get to that later on. But Cornet is ruining it. Now, if you remember Cornet coming in, there was loads of people. There was Depay, remember? Memphis Depay and Mesh. There was, Keane Lewis Potter. That was another one that we were linked with. Then there was, the guy, name escapes me, Dutch player, used to play for Bournemouth, plays for Villarreal now. You know, it's on the tip of my tongue. You know what I'm talking about. Very nearly had a deal sewn up for him. Didn't get any of those. think we poo-pooed. As I understand it, I think it was more Sullivan that wanted Depay. I don't think we were quite able to push it through for Keane Lewis-Potter. And let's be fair, it's not like he's been absolutely brilliant. That's fine. The one we went for in the end was Maxwel Cornet. But my point is, I think it's just a key position for us. Yeah, it does seem to be, it's got to be God's grace and a fair wind, and he has to be just tip-top for him to play. West Ham are low down in the league. Look, some people have got some games in hand on us as well. We are in the midst of a relegation struggle. We're going to need him. We need players like that. And actually, but it's exactly where Burnley were. They needed him, and he wasn't available. He kept on missing games. When he played, he was very, very good. But when he didn't, he was very, very naughty, quite frankly. I'm fed up with it. I think it's been a waste of money so far. And under normal circumstances, you can say, do you know what? It's only been here half a season. He can come good. But to do that, it strips out the context of what is actually happening here. To do that, to have that belief, to have that opinion, you have to forget the history and forget what's happened with Burnley. And you have to consider that West Ham have got time to allow that to happen. We don't. We need him to hit the ground running, and we need him to do it now. There's been mitigation, there's been excuse for Paqueta and Scamacca. To a lesser extent, Kehrer. A Gerd's different because he has been, genuinely seriously injured. And that is they are not acclimatised to the league. They do not know the league. There are no such considerations for Maxwel Cornet and, I guess, to a lesser extent, Emerson. There's no excuse for that. These are the guys that hit the ground running. That's £17 million on a wing, and that's decent money. It's decent money. And we can't rely on him. And if we can't rely on him, then we're back to where we were last season. Thankfully, Said Benrahma is doing a pretty damn good job this season. I mean, he's been as good as anyone. If you were going to cast your vote now for Hammer of the Year, then Said Benrahma would be right up there. He really would. But ideally, we still want the left winger. As I say, I'd probably move Said Benrahma inside. Take Paqueta out of that attacking midfield position. Put Benrahma there. Give him a free roll. Get the winger there. It's been completely and utterly unreliable. And quite frankly, I'm fed up with it. And if it doesn't sort itself out soon, very, very soon, then we need to replace him. I don't really care what it is. If a loan, anything is better than this guy that just basically doesn't play. It's like he's stealing a living. I just haven't got time for it. We do not have the luxury of doing that. The other thing is, when Scamacca's not firing, when it's not working out for Antonio, or Antonio's knackered or whatever, I actually thought that Cornet looked good. I thought this is a guy that could be our third choice striker. I think he's the guy, in many respects, we are going to play a 2-up, that looks best suited to play alongside the Scamacca. The fleeting glimpse that I saw, I liked. I liked what I saw. I'm not convinced that Scamacca and Antonio look particularly good as a pair. We need Cornet. If he can't do it, well, let's say get rid of him. No one's going to buy him, but we do have to replace him. We can't sell him, but we're going to have to replace him. If what they're going to do is hurry up that Vlasic money, and they want to make a deal early on that, I know we need a right back, and that's got to be sorted, but someone's going to have to find something and do something from somewhere. And if not, then we have to be a bit creative. I think, and just on to Scamacca, the one other thing I did want to cover with Scamacca, I know people are saying he couldn't have donkey's ass for a banjo. Agreed in that game, but we know he can. We actually know he can finish well. It was the getting in positions, which is the issue. So I was a little bit more pleased to see a little bit more endeavour, a little bit more spark, a little bit more interest, a little bit more service. Yes, it's a friendly, but look, what else have we got to go on at the moment? We're feeding on scraps. We've got to hope that they can work something out. I don't have any question about particularly Scamacca's finishing ability. I really don't. I think he can strike a ball really, really well. I think if we can give him the supply line, he'll score goals. I was worried he looked to be lacking motivation. I was worried that he wasn't bothering, he wasn't making an effort. To see somebody making an effort in the pre-season friendly is good. Yes, look, the youngsters are better. Equa, I really like. Anybody that, well, the patrons, when I covered earlier on, I covered the under-21s when we played Arsenal, will know he was my pick of the bunch in that game. So, I mean, no surprise there. I really like this player. So they're going to have a little bit more a little bit more about them, the youngsters, is going to mean more to them. But I was pleased to see Scamacca. And do you know what? Actually, even if he's just interested and available, that will do me, because quite frankly, compared to Maxwel Cornet, those are two things that he just doesn't have.